My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Push. And this will be a spoiler-filled review, so if you haven't seen it, go and watch it, then come back and watch my review because I will be going in depth. Now, these past few weeks, I've been watching a bunch of superhero movies that were made before Marvel and DC really became as big as they are now, and this was the one that I was most curious to see where I would land on. I do remember really liking this one as a kid, but I also remember not being able to understand what was going on in the last act at all. So I was just like, you know what, I'm older now, I'll probably understand it, and I'll probably enjoy this movie much more than I did, and unfortunately, that is not the case. Now, I actually do remember this movie came out on February 6, 2009, because that was the same date that Coraline, one of my favorite movies ever, came out, and both movies star Dakota Fanning. So I just want to say that I can't think of very many times where an actor has two big movies come out on the same day. So I just wanted to mention that. But I do think this movie has lots of potential. There's lots of good ideas on display. Like, the world building in this movie is definitely a highlight. Like, they do have all these different characters with different powers, and each group of person that has a certain power has a different name. So there's pushers and movers and bleeders. Sorry, and all these other names. So I do like the creativity there. The bad guys are named Division. So there is lots of effort put in the script in that specific regard, but it doesn't feel like there's all too much effort put anywhere else because this entire movie just feels like a pilot to a TV show. It doesn't feel like anything of consequence is actually happening. It all feels like world building and setup without any actual payoff. When the movie ends, I was just like, wait, that's it? That's a very anticlimactic ending, and it doesn't work for me. It kind of makes the whole movie feel so insignificant because of it. Like, there's this whole plot point where Dakota Fanning is able to see the future, and she can see that her character and Chris Evans' character die. And I thought the usage of that throughout was really great because they found a way to use that to create stakes and tension when needed. And then when they're building up to this moment where Dakota Fanning is going to die, and then she just doesn't die, and that's it. And I'm just like, you built all that up for such little payoff. And that's actually a great summary of this entire movie. Just nothing happens. Now that said, I do like the first half of this movie much more than the second half because they have a clear goal. They're after this girl because she escaped from Division, and I was just like, okay, I'm on board with this. It's setting up the world well enough. Let's see where this goes. But then the second half just becomes a lot more unclear. Everybody's looking for this briefcase, and you're just left wondering, well, why? Why is everyone after the briefcase? What's in the briefcase? What's going to happen if they get the briefcase? What's going to happen if the good guys get the briefcase? And it's just a complete convoluted mess. Like, I know the good guys want to use the briefcase as a way to get Dakota Fanning's mom out of Division, but you just don't feel that at all. You never see Dakota Fanning's mom once in the entire movie. So they say it all the time, but you don't actually feel it. And then what happens if the bad guys get it? I don't know. They say that they'll become more powerful, but you don't really see that or feel that either. So the entire second half of this movie just feels completely empty. Now, Paul McGugan directs this movie, and he does give it his own style. And lots of times, it really does work in the way he shoots this movie, the music that's there. He does create this unique atmosphere. It doesn't always work. Like, there's this one chase scene early on where they're getting chased by these guys with powerful screens, and I actually found the editing and the music in that movie to be very off-putting. But more often than not, he succeeds in giving this movie a unique style. The action is pretty decent. I do like the usage of the powers and how they use them in very minimal ways. It makes the movie feel more small scale, and I think that really works here. I also love how you see the characters use their powers throughout, whether they're in combat or not. You know, even how Chris Evans' character just uses it to gamble. It just makes the character feel very real, and I like that aspect. And there was this one great fight scene in the middle of the movie And the way the fight scene begins, it kind of just happens because, like, at Adventure Point, Chris Evans is just like, well, I'm gonna go face the bad guy now. And then he goes face the bad guy. And it doesn't work in that regard, but once the action gets going, the way that the characters use guns and fight each other with their powers, I found it to be very refreshingly unique, and I dug that aspect. And the cast for this movie is very hit or miss. I think Chris Evans is a good actor. He's got it. You know, he's got just that amount of gravitas that he can bring to each and every one of his performances, and I do think he carries this movie incredibly well, and I like the introduction to his character. Just him using his powers to gamble, but he can't quite do it. It really just tells you everything you need to know about him right off the bat. That he's got powers, he's not great with them, and how he's not doing too good financially. Tells you everything you need to know in one scene, really well done. Then you've got Dakota Fanning, who I miss in movies. Like, she was such a big star in that 2005 to 2009 era, and I can't think of anything else besides the Twilight movies she's been in the past decade. I think she was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for like 5 seconds, but that's really it. But she's not great in this movie though. She's good in some moments, but there's some moments where she just comes across really bad. Like, there's this one scene where she's trying to act drunk, and I even remember as a kid, I was like, that's some bad acting, and that's still the case now. Then you've got Camilla Bell, who used to be in a lot more movies. She was in this, 10,000 BC, the remake of When a Stranger Calls, but I can't think of anything else since then, and I can see why. She's not good. She's actually a really bad actress here. She doesn't carry any weight to her performance. She doesn't come across as likable or charismatic. Just did nothing for me. But then you've got Dae-Jung Han-soo, who's been completely wasted in both the DC and Marvel movies, and it's such a shame that's the case because I think this is a really good actor who deserves more opportunities. I think he makes for a really good villain. He's not written the best, but he adds a lot to his performance. And then you've got this one character played by, I'm going to totally mispronounce this name, Ixalu Lau, who plays someone called Pop Girl. And she can see the future like Dakota Fanning's character, so I like the rivalry between the two of them, but the acting is actually really, really bad. But look, this is a movie I was hoping to like, I was hoping to be entertained by, but that's not the case. There's definitely some impressive elements here. I do think Chris Evans and Dae-Jung Han-soo do a good job. I like lots of the world building and the usage of power throughout this movie. But the story is just lacking in every single way. Nothing holds any bit of weight. There's no real stakes regarding Dakota Fanning's mom. The plot becomes very convoluted, and it's just lacking in any bit of energy. I was hoping I'd like this movie more upon this rewatch, but I didn't really care for it. So I'm going to go ahead and give Push a 5 out of 10 with a no recommendation from me. Well, you know what they say. When push comes to shove, I have no idea what I'm trying to say there, but I saw an opportunity to make that joke and I made it, despite it not making any sense. But have you seen Push? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon, and Gavin out.